What's good YouTube, Ben here, welcome to the next video on the channel. In this one, I'm going to give you my next Steel Path Viable build on Warframe. This one's for Soma Prime. Let's get into this. Alright, so Soma Prime, this is a weapon I actually owned on PlayStation Warframe. But then when they allowed you to merge your account save files over, I got it on here, which is great on my main account. So we're going to go over Soma. I do have its Incarnon form, which I'm going to go over quickly as well. So Incarnon Evolution, of course, Evolution 1, headshots, change, Incarnon Transmutation, alt fire transmute, switching back will expend any remaining charge, blah, blah, blah. You know how this works. It's Incarnon form. You activate it by getting headshots, which doesn't take long to activate at all. Evolution 2, I've got Fortifying Bloodshed, which is increased base damage by +10 on /status kill, 100% overshields. Which you can hit /procs quite frequently because I'm running viral, but we'll go over that when we go through the full build. Evolution 3, Rapid Reinforcement, 50% reload speed. This weapon has a very slow reload, so having this does help that somewhat. And Evolution 4, zeroed in increased base critical damage multiplier by +0.6 times. So it's normally a 3.3 times critical multiplier. That takes it to 3.6. But let's jump into the main build. So we've got Galvanized Chamber for 80% multi-shot on on-kill, plus 30% multi-shot for 20 seconds, stacks up to 5 times. We've got Galvanized Scope for on-headshot, plus 120% critical chance when aiming for 12 seconds. On-headshot kill, plus 40% critical chance when aiming for 12 seconds, stacks up to 5 times. Great for the criticals on this weapon. Hunter Munitions for 30% chance to apply /procs on criticals, and then companion damage, which doesn't apply. Critical Delay for plus 200% critical chance and negative 20% fire rate. We've got Vital Sense for 120% critical damage, Malignant Force for 60% toxin and 60% status chance, Rhyme Rounds for 60% cold and 60% status chance, and Hammer Shot for 60% critical damage and 80% status chance. Now, there's a lot of debate online whether or not Hammer Shot's actually worth it. For this build specifically, I think it is. Because the other build variation you've got is you can swap Hammer Shot, for me, for where are we? For something like Thermite Rounds, which gives heat instead of the criticals, which takes your status chance down to 28% and your critical multiplier down to 7.9, but it does add heat to remove armor. But from my point of view for this build, it works better with Hammer Shot because of the critical damage, plus it takes your multiplier to 10.1, which is ridiculous. With 90% base critical chance and with Galvanized Scope, you're always hitting criticals, which is nice. Although the weapon is a little bit slow to start. I will grant that. And we're running Primary Merciless in the Arcane slot, and I've not got anything in the Excellence slot, but I guess you could run something like Vigilante Supplies or Ammo Drum or something. I tend to not put anything in Excellence slots generally, just because it's not really worth it. But you can do if you want to. But going over the build quickly, so we have 90% critical chance, 10.1 times critical multiplier, 30% status chance. We're running Viral, which is, again, to cut through the health. We've got a 12 fire rate, 1.8 times multi-shot, 200 in the magazine, 1.7 second reload, which is quite nice. And then, of course, the Incarnon Form, which boosts damage quite considerably, which is nice. But let's jump into the mission. I will show you what this thing can do. Alright, so we're here at Oxymoker in the Void. Before we jump in, let me quickly go and explain why we're here. So, with the Void, it's one of the latest game areas in the game. Therefore, you're dealing with the highest level enemies. Not to mention, you're dealing with the Corrupted. With the Corrupted, you're dealing with enemies with just health, enemies with health and shields, and enemies with high armor, giving you a more varied example of what you're going to be able to do with the build that we're currently working on. So, now, this weapon's a little bit slow to start because it needs to at least get 1 kill in order to start proccing that critical chance. But once it procs, you're basically set. Like, we've already pretty much activated full Incarnon. We're going to go in and we're just going to completely rinse everything. Now, I did mention that I'm running Hammer Shot, and as you saw, I am. Now, you can run the heat element over it if you would like to try and proc more status, but the issue is, I'm not running a status build, so having heat is fine, but we're going for raw criticals, and when you want that, you want as many mods on that handle criticals so you can get the most from it. So in my opinion, Hammer Shot from this build specifically is a much better mod, and as you can see, it slays. Now, something else I do need to mention as well, my builds are noted as Steel Path viable builds. Now, what does viable mean? It means it's viable. You can use it on the steel path, albeit it's probably not going to get you to level 9,999 enemies. So if that's what you want, this is not the build for you, because more than likely this won't do that. However, my build guides primarily are for the casual player, not for, you know, people that spend 8 hours trying to get to that level. And then, you know, for no reason too. I mean, there's no real reason to do so other than flex, but still. Like, these builds are for casuals, like ones who play the game to enjoy the game and actually want to progress and, you know, do stuff like Archon hunts and other, you know, stuff that benefits you at Steel Path level. Or to just play through the entire star chart on Steel Path, you know what I mean? Like, they're not meant to drag you to that sort of level, because most people aren't going to want to do that. But I certainly don't. I literally play through Steel Path for the fun of it. I, you know, just chill. Like, I am a casual player. This is gonna nuke our thing a bit. Can we go up, please? I hate elevators in the void, because it's just annoying. Hello. Still, we got some enemies here, which are gonna help restore our primary merciless a bit. You can also run primary deadhead. The reason I'm not is purely for consistency, although you can run that too. But as per normal, we'll stay in the mission long enough to get to the acolyte, so you can see what we can do against said acolyte. To be fair, this works pretty darn well against acolytes. Like, it works decently. Of course, the damage output you're going to be getting is going to be solely based on a few factors. One is, you know, if you're running primary merciless or deadhead, or whichever one you're running, you will need to try and proc it as much as possible beforehand to get the most damage from, of course. And then, of course, once our hunting munitions procs on the acolyte as well, that will also start dealing a ton of damage too. But as you can see, this weapon shreds. Like, with hammer shot on, I don't understand the hatred for hammer shot. Don't get me wrong, I understand it's kind of a redundant mod for most builds, because like for most builds, you're going one way or the other. You're not going for status and criticals, but at the same time, like the 30% status chance on this, all it does is boosts the, you know, the rate I guess you're going to hit the viral status, which isn't harmful to this build whatsoever. But you want it for the critical damage, because the critical damage is where you're getting the bulk of your damage. Like, you're getting it from that, and as you can see with the normal enemies, we're just shredding through them. Now, I'm not activating Incarnon because I'm waiting for the acolyte for that. There's a Jade Eximus. Hello. Stupid Jade Eximus. I hate Jade Eximus, especially in stuff like the circuit. Oh my god. They are annoying in the circuit. But they're still cool, so. They came from Jade Shadows, which is a really fun quest. I did a full playthrough of that quest, because I hadn't done it up to that point. It was really fun, so. Might do some more questing videos at some point on this game, because there's a few quests I've still not done, so. There we go, acolyte time. Very nice. Just wipe out a few more normal enemies. We get out of the way of those beams. Activate Incarnon Form. There we go. Its shields are gone. Goodbye, violence. And there we go. Acolyte rinsed. So it rinses through acolytes pretty darn quickly, which is very nice. Oh, it deactivated my gloom. Fair. But yeah, like, we got through that pretty darn fast, which is pretty nice. Acolyte was quick to spawn today. But it's a great weapon. I enjoy it. But let me know what you think about this build in the comments down below. Don't forget, you can also support the channel further by becoming a channel member from as little as 99 pence per month. And don't forget, I do live stream. When I go live here on YouTube and over on Twitch and on TikTok, all at the same time. My streams here on YouTube are in shorts form factor, so more for mobile. But if you want to catch the exact same streams at the exact same time in full 1080p, then feel free to join me on TikTok and Twitch. Those links are down below. Don't forget, on TikTok I also do exclusive video content, and don't forget you can also support the channel just by comment, liking, and subscribing. It's free.